Everyone thinks Good Will Hunting is a film about a genius, a boy from South Boston who can solve unsolvable maths problems on a chalkboard, who outsmarts MIT professors, and who has a gift so rare that people travel across the country just to be in the same room as him. Now that's the surface. That's the marketing of the movie. But Good Will Hunting is about a person so terrified of being truly known that he would rather destroy every good thing in his life than risk finding out he isn't enough. Does that sound familiar? Hi, I'm a psychiatrist and this is SlowReel, where we watch films slowly for what they are really saying. And Good Will Hunting gets something right that most films about brilliant people absolutely, completely miss. It's really not about the gift that the person has, it's more so about what the gift is being used to hide. Now, a quick warning, I will be talking about the whole film, including the ending, so if you haven't seen it yet, watch it first and come back. Okay, Will Hunting is introduced to us as someone who is objectively extraordinary. He reads everything, he remembers everything, he solves in minutes what takes mathematicians years. And yet, he works as a janitor. He gets into fights there and he blows up every opportunity the moment it gets real. Now, this is the film's first and most important question. Why? Why does he do that? The easy answer is his background. There is abuse, poverty, basically the system failing him. And those things do matter, but the film is interested in something more specific than circumstance. It is interested in the logic of self-sabotage. Because Will doesn't fail by accident, he fails on purpose. The moment a job interview goes well, he torches it. The moment a relationship deepens, he runs. And the moment someone offers care to him, he actually turns it into a performance. He starts to show off. He deflects. He keeps everyone at exactly the distance where they can't hurt him. This is what avoidance actually looks like in a brilliant person. It doesn't look like giving up, but it looks like being so good at everything else that no one notices you're hiding. I spent years studying harder than I needed to, knowing more than was asked of me, not because I loved studying, but because if I knew enough, maybe no one would find out I didn't deserve to be there. And the genius version of that is Will Hunting. But I would say the feeling is the same. If I'm impressive enough, maybe you won't look too closely. And the film sees through that immediately. And it refuses to be impressed. So, in the movie, Will goes through 5 therapists before Sean Maguire. 5. And he destroys each one. He picks apart their methods, he exposes their insecurities, and he performs his way out of the room before they can get anywhere near him. And then Sean sits across from him and does something no one else has done. He doesn't try to win. There's that scene in the park early in their relationship where Sean just talks about his wife and the night he chose her over a Red Sox game that turned out to be historic, about loving someone imperfect, completely and deeply, and he ends it with something that stops Will cold. You're just a kid, you don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about. It's quite accurate, right? And he said it with total warmth. So Sean isn't trying to fix Will, and he is not dazzled by him, he's not threatened. He just sees him, a scared kid performing confidence and intellect and indifference. And none of it lands because Sean isn't buying that performance. Now, I might say that that's the rarest thing someone can offer another person. You offer them clear, steady, unjudgeable sight. I actually had a best friend who did that for me. They didn't care how many exams I passed or how competent I seemed. They just saw me, and those people are everything. You know, if Will Hunting had found this channel, he probably would have picked it apart for 10 minutes and then quietly rewatched every video. So, subscribe, I won't tell anyone, it's our secret. Now, the scene everyone remembers, and it earns every second of it. Sean says, "It's not your fault." And Will laughs it off. Again, he deflects and performs. So Sean says it again and again, quietly, steadily, without backing away. And finally, something cracks. What breaks open isn't the words. Will has heard versions of those words before, right? But what breaks open is that Sean won't leave. He stays in the room, he keeps saying it, he absorbs every deflection Will throws at him, and he just remains there. And that constancy, basically that refusal to be pushed away, is what finally gets through. Clinically, what's happening in that scene is the collapse of a defensive structure that took years to build. Will has organized his entire personality around one core belief, that he is fundamentally unlovable, that anyone who gets close will eventually confirm that he is unlovable, basically. So, better to push them away first. And Sean's refusal to move, both literally and emotionally, makes that belief impossible to maintain. But actually, you don't need clinical language for it. You can just feel it, because most of us have some version of that belief. Maybe some quieter version of, "I'm not quite enough, and if you really knew me, you would see it too." So the film is saying that belief is a lie, and it usually takes another person to prove it. So, what the film is actually saying about Will's genius is this: his intelligence is not the point, and it never was the point. The film uses it as a trap to make us, like everyone else around Will, focus on the gift instead of the person holding it. When in reality, the real thing Will has, the thing the film argues is worth more than any mathematical ability, is his capacity for connection, his loyalty to his friends, his love for Skylar, and his eventual agonizing willingness to be vulnerable with Sean. Now that's the gift that the film and we should care about, and it's the one Will almost throws away entirely. The ending, Will driving to California, choosing Skylar and choosing his own life, is not triumphant because he's going to use his brain. It's triumphant because he's finally choosing to show up, to be known as himself, and to stop running from the room before anyone can get close. The genius was never what made him worth knowing. He was worth knowing all along. So, if you're someone who works twice as hard as necessary and knows more than anyone asks, stays impressive so no one looks too closely, the film sees you. Not the performance, but it sees you. And the thing Sean keeps saying to Will, I will say it now too. Whatever you think you need to prove, you don't. You are worth knowing before any of it, and you're allowed to let someone stay in the room. Now, tell me in the comments, is there someone in your life who just sees you? No performance required? Even one person can change everything. Yeah, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe, and I will see you next week with the next video. Bye!